Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to our course on effective leadership. Now that we've talked about how to run productive meetings, it's worth taking a look at the most common mistakes, especially for leaders, and what to do. For this, it was important to see what makes a meeting efficient in order to recognize what makes a meeting unproductive. Hit thumbs up if you want more content related to leadership. Make sure you have subscribed to the channel too. When run effectively, meetings promote collaboration and communication and keep members motivated. When poorly conducted, all of this is lost, even having a negative effect. So, with the idea of improving productivity, ask yourself if any of your scheduled meetings have the potential to be a waste of time. Take a look at your own calendar. Now let's see what are the reasons that cause the greatest loss of time influenced by meetings. First, your calendar is full of meetings. It's difficult to find time to get on a new project when meeting reminders keep popping up all the time. You want to spend your time on work that really matters, but your Google Calendar is ruling your day, which is kind of cool that you have your meetings organized in one place, but that is bound to become a bottleneck soon. My rule of thumb is not having more than 3 hours of my day dedicated to meetings. There were instances where I actually had all day really dedicated to meetings when I had bigger teams. And this went on for days. So, cancel unnecessary meetings. Complex topics and brainstorm sessions are certainly great when run in person, but you may wonder if there is another way to get to the same point. It can be an email with your ideas, a 15-minute stand-up meeting to first brevity, or a 10-minute meeting where the person interested in the ideas simply collects them from the participants. Afterwards, the person can decide whether he or she will need additional information. You can also mark blocks on your day that you do not want to have meetings. I think that all calendar softwares that I've used has this function of blocking a part of your day. I, for example, know that I work best with meetings early in the day. At the end of the day, my participation and attention span drop a lot. So I blocked my daily schedule for meetings at specific times. I even had to block my lunch time because they were scheduled meetings at 11:30, noon, or 1 p.m. Don't be that person. Second point, not questioning the meetings. Here's what happens. There will come a time when your opinion is so important and your contribution is so valid that people want to have your participation. With that, you let others dictate your contribution to the company. Learning to question the reason for the meeting, your participation, what is expected, and these things is an art, and it would help you greatly to increase your productivity and leverage in the company. Do not hesitate to press reject on the invitations or to question why is the meeting even taking place. The chances are very high that everything will be alright if you do so. Likewise, ask yourself if the meeting is not longer than necessary. Imagine a simple meeting to set the decoration of the reception hall to take 2 hours. Okay, it is an important subject because it's your business first image to your customers, but should that override all other issues? Is the opportunity cost so high to postpone that decision a little or leave it at that? As the popular saying goes, time is money. In your case, it is also performance and your performance in a company. I mentioned this a few times in this lesson. It is common for calendar software to schedule meetings in 30-minute slots, but you do not necessarily need to use this chunk of time. Question the length of the meetings. As Parkinson's law says, the amount of work required for an activity will fill in the time made available for its completion. Third point, meetings that lose focus. As I have already mentioned briefly before, it is common for the meeting to be dispersed by some joke, side talk, or by entering into a topic slightly related to what's been discussed, but that goes in another direction. Some suggestions to prevent this from happening are having a timekeeper for the meeting and leaving the purpose of the meeting on display so that anyone else can question it. Just to give a quick example, when we were on a project that involved a lot of rush for an LMS setup, an online course management software in early 2020, I was the person who all the time asked whether a meeting was really necessary. Of course, we were also learning about remote meetings, but that made me very uncomfortable. Of course, share the agenda with others so they know more or less what you expect from the meeting. There are several meeting agenda templates on the internet and even complete toolkits on how to run meetings in specific formats, such as brainstorm, feedback, and weekly update meetings. If you are interested in this content, comment here that I can search for the ones that I find most useful and most functional. Finally, I strongly recommend a person's secretary-like role. That way, in addition to ensuring that people are paying attention, you generate a report of what has to be done post-meeting and, of course, the decisions made. This is especially important for meetings where you expect tasks to be created and the delegation to take place. This can also be useful for you to follow up later. Running meetings more efficiently. If you open any leader's agenda, you will see that that person probably has many meetings in the same week. Maybe not all of them are actually scheduled, but they end up meeting many people during the course of the week. Most of those calendars are full of invitations to meetings, and even more common than that is teams members wishing that they didn't waste so much time on unproductive meetings. Worse, in fact, is when we only feel useful when we are in a meeting, when it's actually just a small screen. Useless meetings are common, but don't worry. If it's any consolation, you will continue to experience this evil for a while, so don't panic. Only now that you know this, take a little control of your life as a manager and leader to improve your time management. Follow the steps mentioned in this lesson to improve your mental and calendar health, if I can use that term. As we say in my hometown, better than that, just twice that. So, to recap what we saw in these past 3 lessons, we saw how you can prepare for a meeting as a leader, review if it's needed, set an agenda, and have schedules for each block. Then we went into the topic of how to run productive meetings with 2 very brief tips. Make it clear the agenda, the purpose, and the agenda of the meeting. Finally, we visited the main mistakes of those who have a calendar full of meetings in whose participation is essential. This is especially the case for leaders. In the next lesson, we will learn about the drama triangles, a very common form of conflict that happens in teams. How to realize that you are getting into one, and how to escape the drama triangle that is being created in your team. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel to follow the lessons, like this content if you think it has helped you, and share it with your colleagues and coworkers. Always look both ways. See you in the future.